Good morning from the Philippines. Um, I'm Bill Lighthall. I'm making a video for you about the Trump shooting and about what I've been able to uncover. Um, Fortunately for myself, I have more time on my hands than I used to because I'm retired here in the Philippines, and I have time to do a lot of research on this kind of thing. I did a lot of research on the COVID vaccine, and even before I retired on 9/11, I did a tremendous amount of research. Um, as a result, I was able to uncover a number of things that, frankly, just weren't widely known. And I'm hoping to pass on that kind of information to you in this video. There's a lot to know about this shooting that happened at the Trump rally. Um, I want to start by saying that, this thing was beyond suspicious from the very first day. And from the very first day, I had said publicly that the Secret Service and the other law enforcement agencies were in on this, that they had prior knowledge to what was going to happen, and they looked the other way and allowed it to happen. Um, since then, it's come out that a number of other people have had prior knowledge also. Um, I will post links to all the different videos that I have seen of witnesses and collaborating evidence for these statements. I have a lot of links to share with you. Also, the individual that is basically alleged to have done the shooting, Thomas Crooks, um, there is no way to be certain that he even fired a round. They're reporting that he did, but you have to remember how much the government sources have lied to us in every other investigation since JFK about this kind of thing. No information that comes from the government is trustworthy. It's absolutely certain that he was up there on the roof. It's certain that even before that he was at the rally and he had a rangefinder, and there's videos of him wandering around almost as if he's looking for his car keys or something. And he wasn't really trying to hide what he was doing at all. He really didn't have an air of guilt about what he was doing. He was just going about his business. It's like real matter-of-factly. But anyways, people saw him as he was getting up on the roof, and they reported it to law enforcement. Law enforcement knew they knew about him being there when he had the rangefinder hours before the rally, and they considered it suspicious, and they said to keep an eye on him. They knew he was on the roof. They chose to look the other way. Also, the building that he was on, there's a number of things about that building that are very strange. One, it was only 150 yards away from Trump where he was speaking. It should have been well within the security perimeter that they set up. From what I've seen of the security perimeter, for whatever reason, it's Pac-Man shaped, and they actually have in the mouth of Pac-Man that building, the water tower, and another building over there excluded from the security perimeter, which is very, very strange. Why would you exclude the best sites to set up for an assassination attempt from your security perimeter? Makes absolutely no sense unless you are trying to facilitate the man being assassinated. Anyway, so Thomas Crooks was there. He got up on the roof, and he was crawling from the edge of the roof to the peak. People were telling the police he was there. Apparently, one police officer boosted another police officer up to get a look, and they saw him, or the one that was boosted up saw him, but he had both hands on the roof and he was pulling himself up to see. He says that Crooks pointed his rifle at him, and he ducked down and ultimately lost his grip on the roof and fell, and apparently he was injured slightly. I don't think he could have been too damn severely injured, but anyways. So yeah, basically everybody knew that Crooks was up there. Now, there's some other things that are very suspect about this building. One is that the building's owned by BlackRock, and I've got links supporting that. This kid, Thomas Crooks, was actually in a BlackRock TV commercial 2 years ago, and I've got links for that. BlackRock removed the ad after this, which, you know, under the best of circumstances, even if it's completely innocent, would be the logical thing to do. I mean, I can't fault them for removing the ad. But there's a BlackRock subsidiary that is an investment firm also, and they had filed with the SEC, or the FEC, SEC, I guess it's Security Exchange Commission. But anyways, they had filed documents with them 3 weeks ago about short selling 1.2 million shares of Donald J. Trump DJT media, which, of course, if Trump had been killed, DJT media would have taken a big hit. As it turns out, they did actually list the put option on the stock exchange. I'm not exactly sure how all that works, but there was somebody with a video that showed it. And after Trump survived the attack, the put option mysteriously disappeared, which can only be done if you're the wealthiest and most powerful among those people in the world. You or I, if we had put a put option on Donald J. Trump stock, we would have been forced to have a margin call because it went up dramatically and they were betting on it going down. So you or I would have been bankrupted, but these people, they just got their money back without any questions. Anyways, the owners of that company, if you're interested, there's a number of them. They're extremely politically connected, the Bush family and all of them. So anyways, BlackRock being that closely associated with the shooting, with the patsy, or the what they say is the shooter, and with the property itself, owning it, raises a lot of eyebrows. And then, of course, the put option on the stock, that raises even more eyebrows. I guess the question is, how long can you say all of this stuff is a coincidence? You know, it's obviously not. There's obviously a huge conspiracy going on about this event. And, you know, there's obvious government complicity, Secret Service, the different police departments, the FBI, everybody that was involved in security basically looked the other way and provided no security. For that to have happened, it has to go to the highest levels of the U.S. government. I would say that Biden himself has to actually know about this, and he actually has to have actually signed off on it. Homeland Security, Secret Service, all that, they all were completely aware of what was going on there. Another person that was aware of what was going on there was a New York Times, actually an Associated Press photographer who sold his pictures to the New York Times. He was taking pictures of Trump and miraculously caught a picture of a bullet in flight, which would be almost impossible on a normal camera, but his lens settings were actually set to 1/8,000th of a second for his shutter speed. And you know, people that film NASCAR or who take still pictures of NASCAR, they set their cameras at the highest at like 2,000 or 1/2000th of a second um, shutter speed. So this guy was having his camera operate 4 times faster than what a photographer, a professional photographer, would at a NASCAR event. He had to know that there was going to be a shooting, and he was, in my opinion, out to capture the perfect pictures of Trump's head exploding. Um, again, just another person with foreknowledge, with behavior that indicates they had foreknowledge. It's not a coincidence. All these people were in on and aware of the conspiracy that occurred that day. Anyways, going to the shooting, Crooks got up on the roof and he crawled towards the peak. And the reason why I said that it's unclear if he took any shots at all is nobody's presented any evidence of him having fired his weapon, empty shell casings or anything like that. The only thing we've really seen is pictures of his dead body on the roof. That's it. It's not required for him to have fired a shot for his body to be dead on the roof from a sniper's bullet, especially if they were all in on it, as it appears. Killing him before he fired actually gives great cover to the actual real shooters and real snipers, because then they don't have to account for where the shots came from. Well, they came from Crooks. Even though he's already dead and on the roof, they can say that he fired them. I doubt seriously that he got any shots off at all. I'm sure that the Secret Service probably killed their patsy on the front end rather than waiting for him to shoot. He wasn't the one that was going to get the job done. Now, the building behind the building that he was on, there was a 2-story building, and there's a window on that building that opens outward that had a perfect line of sight to Trump. And there's only about, I don't know, maybe 40, 50 feet further away than what Crooks was. That's probably where one of the sniper teams was set up. As a matter of fact, if you listen to the sound recordings and the sound analysis of the shooting, the first 3 shots are very muffled sounding, which could very easily indicate that they came from inside that building. The interior of the building would have held most of the sound if they were firing out the window. Those were actually probably the shots that hit Trump. Then there was a series of shots that obviously weren't inside the building, and they were much louder. And then there was one shot after that had a different sound also. So it's likely that there was at least 2 shooters, and in my opinion, neither one of them were Crooks. Probably the one shooter was in the building and the other shooter was on the water tower, which they do have pictures, and I'll share the links to the video of the pictures of there being what appears to be a man on top of the water tower. The water tower was also in a great vantage point for shooting Trump. Between the water tower and the window inside the building, they had all they needed. They didn't need Crooks on the roof. A, he wasn't a pro, and B, in his position, as soon as he did anything, he was going to be killed. As a matter of fact, even before he was able to do anything, he was likely killed. But the guy in the water tower and the guys inside the building, if there was a team inside the building, they had a reasonable chance of going undetected. let's see what we've covered. We've covered BlackRock. We've covered the locations that I believe the shooting came from. The shooting also, the trajectory of the bullet does line up with the second story window for the bystanders that got hit. At first, I thought the picture of the bullet from Trump was virtually impossible, but I didn't realize that they had cameras with that kind of shutter speed. It is certainly possible, and because so many people had foreknowledge of this happening, I'm not surprised that a professional photographer would have been included into the loop. The kind of people that do this kind of thing, they want real good documentation. They want the bragging rights of, oh yeah, we killed Trump. We got him. So anyways, there's all of that. Let's see. I'm gonna kind of skim through my notes here and see if there's anything. Oh yeah. You gotta love this. I don't know if the guy was Secret Service or if he was local police or whatever, but when the Secret Service had gotten Trump basically about halfway into the limousine, there's a guy in full military garb that he points his rifle at Trump, which, if you're a member of the security detail to protect someone like Trump or any important figure, the last thing in the world you're going to do is point your rifle at them. I believe the reason why he pointed his rifle at him is to see if he could actually finish the job and get it done right. It was obvious that Trump wasn't seriously or mortally wounded, so if he could have gotten away with the shot, he might have killed Trump there. People made a lot of hay about Trump raising his fist and saying fight, 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 but if Trump hadn't shown the people that he was okay, he might have been murdered, after this. Once they had him away from the public eye, they could have done anything they wanted to him. As a matter of fact, I really have heard a lot of stories, and I believe it to be true about Reagan. Reagan wasn't injured that badly when he was shot, but once they had him pushed into the limo and taken away, the doctors nearly killed him. It's like they basically told Reagan what the deal was. And it's like, Ronnie, here's the deal. You're either going to die today or you're going to do the things that we say, and you're not going to do some of the things that you've been talking about doing, like putting the country on the gold standard and ending the Federal Reserve, which there always seems to be a connection between the Federal Reserve and these shootings, all the way back to Abe Lincoln. JFK, when he was shot, he had issued Executive Order 1110, which basically ended the Federal Reserve. Of course, the day after he was killed, they put the Federal Reserve back in, but there were actually some U.S. Treasury notes that were printed. I actually had one of the $100 bills that were not Federal Reserve notes, that were actually from the U.S. government. That's why I tell people that JFK is the last president that was actually on our side. He was the last one that actually did something to get us out of slavery, which basically Federal Reserve notes are a form of slavery because they constantly increase the money supply, which decreases their value, and that erodes your savings. Plus, they just make them out of thin air. So you spend your life working for things that just came from thin air and that are basically debt issued to the country. That's why we owe all that money, is because every time the Federal Reserve prints money, it lends it to the government at interest. And they've been getting interest on every dollar that exists since 1913, so they have a reason to protect their interests. At this point, the owners of the Federal Reserve own everything that's worth having. They own BlackRock, they own all the big corporations, they own all the real estate, they own everything. They basically own the whole country. And the biggest way to get a reaction out of them is to do something to mess with their money. It's not really about the money. It's about the power. But the money and power are pretty intertwined. If you mess with their money, they'll kill you. I mean, they don't make any bones about it. Um, so let's see. Got Thomas Crooks in the BlackRock commercial. Got the sound recordings. Got the short selling. So yeah, I've pretty much covered everything that I had to say about this today. I hope it is informative to you. I will be posting links. I've got at least probably 10, 12, 15 links to put with this video. And this is my first YouTube video in several years, and I'm going to upload it to my wife's page. It's entitled The Light Halls. And I'm also going to try to start a YouTube channel called Third World Chess, where I detail a lot of my chess training. I'm trying to become a master this year in chess. I used to play U.S. Chess Federation tournaments back in the early 90s and play at a U.S. Chess Federation club. And I hadn't played chess basically from then until this year. And being here in the third world, survival is kind of difficult, and I decided to attempt to develop my chess game to the point of being a master, which when I was playing at the U.S. Chess Federation Club, I knew I would have to study in order to get that good, and I wasn't willing to do it. I was too lazy and had too much going on in my life and all that. Well, now I don't really have much going on in my life, and honestly, generating money here in the Philippines is virtually impossible. I won't go into the details, but it's just things that work in other places do not work here. And so if I were able to develop master's credentials, I can start charging for lessons and stuff like that, and also make some money off tournaments. And right now my rating has been around 1750, something like that. At the Elite Chess site, which does not equate to ELO, but it's about a 250, 300 point increase since I started, and my game has gotten a lot better. My goal is to be around 2200 by the end of the year. I've come up with some new training techniques and stuff. This is July, and I've put a tremendous amount of energy into it. Hopefully over the course of the next few months my progress will accelerate considerably. But anyway, so yeah, I hope to share that journey with you on these videos also. And when I do that, I'm going to actually specialize in different kinds of chess traps, and I want to do something that other people don't seem to be doing with videos about it, and that is that I want to explain to you what to do when it doesn't work, when the plan that you are trying to carry out, your opponent is aware of it, or he just accidentally makes the right moves to where you can't go through and finish your trap. Because a lot of times these traps and gambits, they leave you in a very bad position once they fail. So you need to find a way out. So that's something that I'm going to do. And I'm also going to share, some of my noteworthy games, and also some different mating nets that I've come up with since I've been playing again. But anyways, I won't bore you with all that for today. So yeah, if you get a chance, click like and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and to be honest with you, we're here in the third world. It's a big deal to us if we can get people to like and subscribe this content. It'll help us survive. The channel's already set up to be monetized, and we just need to get the videos rolling. So anyways, have a blessed day, and I appreciate you greatly, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you the next time. Bye.